All right, now it's time for the reveal of the top 20 450 riders going into this first ever SMX playoff. Well, at the top of the top 20, no surprise, Chase Sexton with the Monster Energy Supercross title. He had this clinched several races in advance. Didn't race all the rounds of motocross, but more than enough. He will start with 25 points. The big thing you're looking at there is Jett Lawrence, without Supercross points, was still able to get to third overall behind second-ranked Aaron Plessinger. But still, if you're Sexton, you have a 5-point lead over Lawrence as these playoffs begin, and that could prove huge.
Yeah, and I wonder how much of the points matter for Sexton, or is it just turning the page back to where he left as the champion, right? And I think that's the way he needs to enter this, is to say, okay, I closed the book on Pro Motocross. Now we're going back into a series where I'm the number one guy again, right? And we'll see, time will tell if he can actually do that. But I think this is a great opportunity for him to just reset and go at this thing as if the motocross situation never happened. Jett didn't go undefeated. Forget all that. Go into Charlotte thinking that you're going to be right there just as you left Salt Lake City as the champion.
Now, the other intrigue about these races, normally when a rider is moving to a new team, that's right, Ironman, the finale, is the end of that relationship. But we've got several riders that are staying with their old teams, at least for these three races. And one rider we believe will be making a debut. So let's start with Sexton. We believe he will not be part of Honda next year, but he will be on a Honda for these three races. We don't know what Dylan Ferranda's future plans as far as the team are concerned, but he'll stick with Yamaha for these races. But the most intriguing story of all, we expect Cooper Webb will not be on his traditional KTM. He's going to return from injury. We're going to see a superstar, a two-time Supercross champ, JT, debuting a new bike in Charlotte.
Yeah, and this is his home race, really, right? He's a Carolina kid. You think about the fantastic race he had besting Jeffrey Hurlings years ago in Charlotte. He's going to have a lot of family, friends there, great memories just across the way that he won that battle with Hurlings that I mentioned. So I think for him, there's going to be a lot of emotion, a lot of anticipation, right? And it's going to be a learning process, working through the paces of a new motorcycle. But I would not be shocked at all to see Cooper Webb have a great weekend, because he is a guy that rises to the occasion. When people count him out or when the pressure is on, he is at his best. And nobody's really talking about him right now because he's been missing for a couple of months. But don't be shocked if you see that number 2 come around the first turn out front.
That's going to have Anaheim 1 type vibes to it. How's he look on the new bike? And then you want to talk Anaheim 1 style, where we always say hashtag deep field. Look at who comes in after this. So Webb ends up 6th. Jason Anderson 7th. Ken Roczen will return for the playoffs. He is ranked 8th. We're not going to get Eli Tomac. He's still out with an injury. Justin Barcia, top 10. I mean, you look at those riders, Tomac's out, but that group of 9 inside the top 10, unbelievable.
Yeah, and I think they all have a target painted on Jett Lawrence's back, because to be honest, he embarrassed everybody. And I don't think it was his goal to embarrass anyone, but when you go through an entire summer of motocross and nobody can really do much about him, they just could not beat him. Even Ken Roczen, as great as Kenny is, Jett fell and Kenny couldn't capitalize on it. So I think all of them are looking at this as an opportunity to kind of send a message as they head into Anaheim 2024. Is like, yep, great summer, but it's not going to be this way come January. So we'll see. Time will tell. I think Jett has a different plan than they do, but I expect them to get aggressive with Jett. That doesn't mean dirty, but I think they're going to try to get aggressive and try to change the narrative a little bit.
That top 10 is filled with factory riders. What I like about the other top 10, the back half, 11 through 20, is how many privateers is a shot at huge money. We'll give you the full payout coming up in a little bit, but just to give an example, 8th place pays $100,000 if you're ranked 8th when these playoffs are over. Look at some of these names. Freddie Noren really rallied this year. He's ranked 11th. Grant Harlan, maybe the most improved rider of anyone this season. He's ranked 12th coming in. Great chance to make a lot of money. Garrett Marchbanks wasn't a 450 rider at the beginning of the year. He rallied at 13th. Ty Masterpool was not on anyone's radar at all. 14th. Justin Hill returned after 2 years off. 15th. He'll be back. Kyle Chisholm, never have to rear-bet him coming back. He never goes away. He's 16th. Dean Wilson will return, did not race Pro Motocross. He will be back for these races, ranked 17th. And then I love the dynamic we had. Look at the last 3 on the list, JT. These 3 riders racing Ironman to ensure they're in the top 20.
No, it's great. And typically this week and honestly the week of Charlotte, riders would be taking some time off. They'd be resting, recovering, probably not even looking at a motorcycle. If I'm them right now, sitting here as we record this, I would be out riding. I would forego any rest, forego any sort of burnout feelings that these guys typically have, because the amount of money and the opportunity in front of them is greater than anything else. So you're just gonna have to grin and bear it at some points, even if you're tired, nagging injuries, all of that, because this opportunity that, is in front of us, that, Feld and MX Sports and Peacock and everybody have put together this incredible super motocross package. You have to be ready to take advantage of this and be opportunistic.
Yep. So there it is. McElrath, Nichols, and Hill put their own programs together to get to a couple pro motocross races to score enough points to ensure they're into the motos, they're into the top 20. That's guaranteed money for privateers. So the LCQ is supposed to be seeded by the riders ranked 21 through 30 in combined supercross and motocross points. But when you look at that list, we see a lot of riders who are unable to race. We thought Christian Craig might be able to get back. He's not going to make it. Lorenzo Locurcio's out, and he's the team owner of the Wildcat team. So that brings Jose Butron out of the playoffs as well. Benny Bloss has signed with Beta for next year. Their bike is not ready. So let's show you the riders who actually did commit to come to the LCQ all 3 weekends. Phil Nicoletti, if I had one wish, JT, he would be in the LCQ every week. He is. We have Moran, Starling, Cartwright, Robin, Hand, Shelley, Kessler, and Miller and Simonson round out the group. They'll all be competing each week for 3 spots in the motos.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And Phil, of course, is coming off of a pretty strong summer there. He joined the series late, but he had so much entertainment and drama to this. To have him in the LCQ each week will be awesome. And some of these guys, as you mentioned, they're just coming out of the amateurs. This is going to be their first real shot to do something. A guy like Bryce Shelley, who just raced Loretta Lynn's Amateur National Championship, to jump into the SMX playoffs here. What an opportunity to fight for 3 spots amongst a bunch of other privateers. So I guess 3 of these guys will end up making a lot of money here. And just what a great opportunity.
Yeah, I want to mention there's a $15,000 purse each weekend in the LCQ alone. So every rider who's committed to these races will take home some money, even if they finish last in the LCQ. Now, if they make it into the motos, then you start scoring points. And let's show you how much money is truly on the line. It is unreal. $1 million to our 450 champion, $500,000 for second, $250,000 for third. But the number that jumps out most to me, JT, it's $100,000 even for 8th in the 450 class.
Yeah, and I think about those guys like Grant Harlan. Some of the, they don't have the name, that factory ride that you think about, but they've had such fantastic seasons. They come in right around 10th in SMX championship points. And then we get this reset where they're really going to have a chance to move up the leaderboard from there. So a ton of money on the line. They, for them, I think they have to just kind of block that out and focus on what's in front of them as far as the races. But we all know those last few laps of each race are going to be thinking about that money.
All right, that's it. We've been building this up for over a year now. At 11 a.m. on Friday, we'll have a live press conference, and then we'll have bikes on track at noon on Friday in Charlotte. This is it, JT. The playoffs are finally here. And one more time, if you want to watch Race Day Live, we'll be back. That starts at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time with Dan Hubbard and Ryan Villapoto and plenty of other guests. 2:30 Eastern is our pre-race show. We're racing at 3 o'clock Eastern. You can watch all of it on Peacock or the Super Motocross Video Pass outside of the U.S. or on television at 3 p.m. Eastern on USA Network.
Hi, folks. Lee Diffie from NBC Sports here. If you truly enjoyed what you just watched, you can get more news, interviews, and highlights by subscribing to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube page. You can get it all, so go for it.